This is a Newport Dickenson um fireplace in my boat on a 30-foot sailboat. Has a grid that sits right on the lip there, a grate, and that's where all the ashes would go down in there. I've used coal and I've used wood, and it runs very hot. The This thing goes red hot sometimes, to the point of even burning the wood around the edge there. I put some fiberglass around the side. So it runs very, very, very hot, very dangerous, and I lived for 2 years at Avalon in January, February, and it gets nice and hot, but you're burning. You'll get big flames, and it works pretty good, but you're constantly feeding wood to use it, and it becomes pretty wild. Of course, coal is nice. It burns slow after you've done all the flames. But by the way, there is a firebox inside the actual fireplace. When I bought this, it was destroyed, and had to buy another one for $80 and reinstall inside the whole thing. And so they do corrode, and they do get hot, and it had lots of holes when I bought the fireplace on the boat. So you can replace them. And I bought a new chimney, and along with it a new protecting thing. Right on the top here, you can put a hot cup of coffee there, and it'll keep it nice and warm. Coal works good. It lasts maybe 4 or 5 hours before there's no warmth. So you can run a roaring fire, and you can have very roaring thing, but I think it's pretty wild and pretty crazy to expect it to stay warm throughout the whole night. So what I've done is this. I used an old lantern and took the cap, and let's see if I can do this here. I'm going to go top. I took the slit of a regular old lantern burner, and I stuffed 3 half-inch wicks there. There's no, so I used some tweezers to bring them up for each burning, and bring it about a half-inch. So basically, you're making a what they call a smudge pot, and there's enough of a lip here on the edge to any oil that might be there, which there isn't, because I always keep it, half-inch below the glass anyway to begin with. And so the big concern is about the glass that might break. Well, I've burned it with other burners. I use some 3/4 inch burners here, and it makes a nice little flame and everything. But with three wicks stuffed inside the slot, I don't know if you can still see it. Probably not. Of that. So what I made was just use some aluminum. Pretty poor job here, but just alumined, and I dropped it right here to make as a heat shield shield, and then so that's what I've done. Thinking about making a another kind of tank using a quart paint can that's all clean and ready to go, and the other way is to come up with using the half-inch zincs that go into an engine. They're hollow in the center, and you just drill through. And I'm using some wick material from an old kerosene stove. So I'm coming up with 5 or 6, 7 of these. And you can also, because you have the thread, uses a half-inch drill, and you can always put another nut on the back side of the lid, and you can always do you can use some welding, or you can do some that metal glue that you can I'm trying to think of it, the weld stuff, and keep one of them removable, so you can do a filler. So that my next product, because it'll give you a big tank and it's metal, and so I might go that route. So here's what I use. This lasts for maybe, because it's burning really pretty big flame, barely fits. Goes down low inside the tank, where there's usually a drawer right here, right? And that slides where all that always comes right out of the slides out for all the ashes and everything, which is nice, because you're going to get ashes from the at least the black ashes that come from the leftover from the wick, because you're burning quite a bit of your wick, because to run a big high flame like that. Takes a few minutes to get going, and the more you spread it, so 2 of them can work in the slot. Of course, I didn't put on my shield. Like I said, I didn't even have the shield. I had some audiovisual black wrap, which I had there for quite a while, and anyway, you do this ahead of time, but it just drops just like it should. And there it goes, drops into the hole. And that gives you a little bit of shield. And I moved it closer to the stack. It saves your your wall on either side. So all that heat is because this thing doesn't get hot on the sides at all. So most of the heat comes from the front, mostly from the top of from the firebox and to the chimney. So any of the flame you get, it's going to come up in that chimney, and it's gives you for maybe from what I found is about 3 hours. I have other burners and stuff which I can put on the same tank, and I've got some 3/4 inch smudge pots with an actual burner that with a dial, so I can bring it up and down to levels, so it can go through the whole night. I don't really like to have a flame going while I'm sleeping anyway, but it's something I try to avoid to think about. Here's putting a little bit of kerosene in here. That is the Sterno Soft Light, and it's like $10-11. And these a couple burners that I have has a small wick which I can drop in there just for decorating, to put a little. This one burns pretty good. I took off the shield on the top, and you run with a 3/4 inch. Use a number 3 queen burner. It actually has the little knob to bring up there. It doesn't have has a little bit of steel thing that holds up the wick. So the other burner that I have there, I broke off that and made it wide, and to get those 3 wicks to get really big flame, which I've got. And these are just regular Sterno cans that same cap works, and it's pretty. It's just stuck in there, which I don't like, but it's all safe. And there's some of the fluid. Doesn't burn. That's good flame there. Can't get it going. So it needs air, and it needs so it's pretty safe. What you don't want to have is any kind of cap where you make a pool. So if your fluid gets above the tank, like from these nozzles that I was going to do with the paint tank, with paint can, with the so that needs to be sealed real good. And the last one may come with an O-ring for a cap in the paint can, and that will make sure that no fluid goes pooling on top of that can lid that I'm going to design. So those are just some of the thoughts. It's pretty safe stuff, but you just want to make sure that once you get to a higher flame like that, you want to have control. I'm going to come up with a prototype box. There's a guy that does stainless or in steel or nickel. Come up with a box that'll fill up that whole hole, and maybe come up right to this level here with a tank going all the way, and slide it into the same area that's without squeezing it into there too hard. And come up with 5, 6, 7, 9, 10 of those wicks using the brass nipples. So that's one way of doing it. And with that tankage of that, I'm using good quality kerosene, which you can get from Smart and Final. Has it's only like just over $10 now. So if you're using the expensive stuff that you get there for $20 for a quart at West Marine, go for it if you want to. But there is other. Sterno took over another lantern oil that's at Smart and Final, but it's actually same stuff. It's clean. It doesn't put up too much soot. Works for all my lamps. You know, I've got this one here, and one on the in the galley, and I've got another one down here and at the head. It's stuck inside of a right at the head. So it's good oil, and so that's what I've been burning, and makes for a nice toasty thing. It gives you a little bit of warmth. I'm usually running the heater too when it's cold, but it's just nice. I have friends over and stuff to have the flame going there, and if I get really cold, I can snug around the snuggled with the pipe up here, and get a little warmth. So it's the dog gets next to it, and he doesn't get warm. So it's so much for it. Thought about propane, and come up with a burner and run a hard line and put a tank up on the deck, but or try to plumb from my oven, which is on the other side. So this is a one way of use it, and kind of a cute thing to have. It's messy, and the black soot, is a reality. And if it gets on your beds or on anything, figure that you're gonna have to wash it. And it takes you have to clean this with some cleaner, and put a towel or something, because that little bit of soot will just smear everything. So that's about it. I had somebody threw away this nice piece of stainless under here, and I'm gonna install and come up with a nice wood frame, and probably do some tile and bring this up just to the right level here, and it gives me a little protection from the soot and from the heat on the fabric and stuff. By the way, whenever you want to, you can use any water and everything, but for kerosene fires and stuff, it's really easy to put out if it gets out of crazy. And if you probably got 2 fires going. But anyway, for this little lantern that I've done, a couple sprays and it's gone. So it's pretty easy. So that's it. That's my fireplace.